All systems go. Clear for liftoff.
Oh, baby, we're back talking some pay-per-view, baby. 14 fights, Madison Square Garden, 6 p.m. Eastern start time, UFC 322. What a card we have. 2 5-rounders, 14 fights, a plethora of big names, of big-time fights. I'm super, super pumped for this one. Real life, DFS, big boy prizes out there. I'm ready to dive in and talk some fights with you, Big Marley. How are we doing today and this weekend?
Yeah, good. Just heard about the new Wellmaker opponent. I just watched 3 fights of his right before we started. But I do think that makes the card even tougher. I think it's a really tough DFS card. So, yeah, looking forward to talking about it. Hopefully you can talk me into a couple of underdogs to feel good about, because that's where I'm struggling. But we'll see.
Yeah, I'll do my best. It was very unfortunate. So what Big Marley just said, this was Malcolm Wellmaker and Cody Haddon. And this was a minus 140-ish, plus 120 fight, 8,400, 7,800. Out is Haddon, and now we have Wellmaker goes from minus 140 to the minus 500 range. Only prop I see right now under 1.5 at minus 180. This will leave Wellmaker as definitely popular, but the mid-tier is really strong. I unfortunately did not want this to happen. It's not a deal breaker in terms of how good I think the card is, but Valentino Whaley, this is a 5-round fight. This is right in the mid tier. Sean Brady Morales. Sean Brady puts up a lot of big scores when he wins as a heavy wrestler. Great fight in real life, but a solid mid tier fight to target. And then we have Pat Sabatini, Cheppy Mariskell, where it's plus 145 to finish. But again, Sabatini is very similar to Brady, as you see 3.98 takedowns when he wins. He does score over 100 a lot. So mid-range is going to be condensed with Valentino Whaley. And then Wellmaker is going to be one of the highest owned on the slate. But I do think there's pivots that you can get away from that stuff if you do want. So there's no fight that, I don't know. I don't think I'm going to have 100% of any fight. If I did, it would actually be Islam, Jack Della. But I do think there's pass. Islam can win and score 95-ish. Co-main events, I think there's pass. Others in the mid-tier outscore. And yeah, 14 fights, the bigger the number, the more higher scores you need, more than likely to be optimal. The more chances underdogs do come through. So I don't really fight stack. I rarely fight stack anyway. So that's kind of my broad slate before we jump fight by fight. Anything on your side?
No, I'm probably not going to be locking any fights either, but I would go with the other main event or the other title fight for my favorite DFS fight. And I'm not against stacking that one either. I think it could put up a big 200-plus point score.
Okay, that's similar to a take. I don't know if can't remember who it was in the Discord. We were just talking about it today, though. Bryant, maybe it was. So Big Marley might be on that path. When we get to that fight, we will talk in depth about that. What's up, DFS Whispers? Yep, welcome to Malcolm Wellmaker. Chalk Week is right. Takedown YSN. Abrasive Cameron. Thank you. I don't know if you're talking to me, but congrats to whoever's winning. If you were talking to me, I appreciate that. Hoping for some Monday. What am I talking about? I'll take a Monday Night Football shipper on Monday, but some Patriots-Jets action going on right now while we speak. So go Patriots right there. But we're here talking fights. 14 to talk about. No time to waste. Bottom to top, like always. First fight of the night, Mateus Camilo, minus 170. Slaviclas Borchev, plus 145. Minus 210 for this fight to finish. We have Camilo plus 140 inside the distance. Borchev plus 210. So little money has came in on the Camilo side. I put all this up on Tuesday. 10 cents has come in on the under as well. I'm looking at this. The color coding's off on this. I'll have to get something's wrong in the back end. But this should be green. 3.44 takedowns per 15 is good. It is a pretty small sample in the UFC, though. Slaviclas, just a striker, is known for very poor grappling and very poor takedown defense. So I'm kind of looking at this as wrestler, grappler versus striker, but Mateus can throw some hands too. The easiest path is definitely to get it to the mat. So how do you see this fight going?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think it could play out on the feet, because to me, I think Mateus is primarily a striker. He did land like 2 takedowns in his debut, and I would think it'd be smart to wrestle here against Borchev, because he just doesn't have wrestling as pure striker himself. But if the wrestling doesn't go Camilo's way, and I'm also worried about him having 3 rounds of wrestling cardio too. So maybe he wrestles in the first round, but then he starts to slow down after that, and the takedowns don't come as easy. I just don't know that he's going to put up a big score with wrestling, but I have it as a 3-3 because he would be the one that's going to land takedowns in this fight. I'm just not confident in that, and I'm also not confident in him. So I picked Borchev to win this fight because I think it is going to end up playing out on the feet more so than the ground. Maybe Camilo slows down, and then once Borchev figures this guy out, I think he could really pick up the pace and put it on him, get maybe a knockdown or 2 en route to a TKO win. So my preferred play, I'm going to change it to a 2 for Camilo, most likely, and a 4 for Borchev. But he's got to get a knockout for any chance at a high ceiling. And if he wins the decision, Borchev, that is, he might not even hit 10x. So I don't really love him as a play either. But if I'm hand building, he's the one I'm clicking on first.
Yeah, and he's like, this fight's minus 210 to finish. He's plus 210 inside the distance, plus 450 by decision. So I'm not even like, a $7,500 win I'll take, but I think more than likely this fight does finish. Someone goes to sleep on either side. I totally agree with you on the Camilo side, on the cardio concern just a little bit. I mean, he gassed against Gabe Green. He was winning that fight and looking good, and then he just had nothing left, and it seemed like almost quit. And Slava Claus, like, if this is on the feet, Slava can do some damage. Both guys' chins can be cracked, but at least Slava will fight for your dollar, and he throws a lot more volume. So if you don't think Camilo really wrestles, I have to take Slava Claus then at dog money and the $1,200 savings. I will have some Camilo too at 8,700 though, for the simple fact of, again, under this fight's minus 210 to finish, under 1.5 is like plus 120. He's plus 140 inside the distance. I wanted to look at sub and KO prop to see how the books are seeing it. So plus 285 by KO and plus 350 by sub. But that sub prop opened plus 500. So a good amount of money has come in on Camilo by sub. I do like to see that for more potential ground, like takedowns, control time, etc. But I like this fight. This is the one I want exposure to. And it's pretty easy to leave money, even when you're playing both sides. If you want to do it, like plug in Carlos Pratz and drop down to Camilo. I'll spoil it now. I like Camilo's upside more in a vacuum anyway, so I like this fight to start.
Yeah, and I do think the sub does make sense for Camilo too. It's just like when strikers go to wrestle, they just gas out quicker. It's just a different cardio.
Yeah, absolutely. And we saw it last time. He took Gabe Green's back. He was doing well, and then gets reversed, and then it was GG's. He had nothing left there. So good fight to start it. I'm pumped for this one. All right, next fight on the card, the biggest favorite, minus 1,000. Beisinger, Kaiv, minus 1,000. Eric Mechanico, plus 700. Minus 600 for this fight to finish. Kaiv, minus 425 inside the distance. Mechanico, plus 750. Kaiv in round 1, minus 150. So, I don't really think there's much to break down in this fight if you want to. We're talking a minus 1,000 favorite, minus 475 inside the distance. My bigger question is, he's 9,800. The next highest price fighter on the card at 9,500. Not really much interest in this one. I don't think anyone will. The next highest price after that is 9,300. So, you're definitely paying for Kaiv when you play him. You're going to need to play dogs when you do play him with him. And I am worried about a lot of Kaiv builds look pretty similar. What does he need to do it? How do you see the fight going, and how much do you think you'll have?
I think he almost needs a quick win bonus, or he needs a low-scoring card where a lot of underdogs don't come through. But I'm not interested because he's 9,800. I think this is a striking match, and if he makes it out of the first 60 seconds, it's going to be tough to be on the optimal lineup. And I think Mechanico's tough enough to survive a round or two. And if this goes to the third round, neither one of these guys I don't think is making the optimal. Like Mechanico, I don't see a single edge for him aside from maybe physical strength. But if he doesn't knock out Kaiv. I just don't know how he wins this fight. So I'm Xing out Mechanico. 150, 300 lineups. I don't care how many. I'm Xing him out. I'm just not going to play him. The more I make, the more I'd be with Kaiv. But when I'm hand building, I just don't know how I'm going to be able to pay $9,800 on a card where I'm struggling to find underdogs to feel good about. So for me, I don't remember if I've ever had a minus 600 inside the distance fight marked as a 2-star. This might be the first time, but that's how I feel about it. I just don't really have interest in it.
No, I agree. I'd rather save money. Like the low 9K range, high 8K range offers a lot of high upside fights. And I just like the full punts, the Mechanicos, the Angela Hills, the Gerald Mearsharts, I don't like. So almost all my Kaiv builds, I think, probably start Jack Della. But I think that's kind of what the field does. And then you're starting to get in the same narrow path. Oh, then you're going to probably go to one of Valentino Weili. Then you're going to play Wellmaker or just some path like that. So if you are playing Kaiv, try and do something a little different with him, assuming we're talking large field stuff. If you're talking the single entry, 3-max stuff, yeah, you don't need to be as crazy. But, yeah, I'm in total agreement with you. So Kaiv's ownership right now, we have 24% as our preliminary ownership. I think that's about right. It's definitely, I will say, a tough week to predict ownership, I think. Yeah, I mean, we have the clear fights, the main event, the co-main, Wellmaker. But after that, yeah, I think it's pretty tough to pinpoint. But yeah, I like where we're at with 24%. He's 9,800. I wouldn't pick him for DK. Yep, that we play a salary-based game, so that makes a lot of sense. Big Marley on a very similar page. Let's move on to another fight that Big Marley has as a 2-star. Fatima Klein minus 150, or Fatima Klein minus 550. Angela Hill plus 400, plus 250 for this fight to finish. Klein plus 260 inside the distance. Hill plus 1,100. The only way I'm going to play some Klein is if you can talk me into that she's going to wrestle. So do you think there's 4+ takedowns in this in the realm of possibilities for Klein?
I mean, I don't think that's what happens, but minus 500 money line tells me that that's what should happen, because if this is a striking match, I just don't know how she looks like she's a minus 500 favorite. Hill's getting up there in age. 15 years older is crazy, actually, but she could definitely win this fight on the feet. She is a high-paced volume, a high-volume striker, and she's a good striker too. So I would hate having a minus 500 ticket on Klein if this was a 15-minute striking match. And that's what puts Hill in play. She's a safe, cheap play if that's what you're looking for. She could put up 40 in a loss. She could maybe win and put up 80, 85 here. But if Klein is going to look like a minus 500, I think that she would be landing a few takedowns and having 5+ minutes of control time in this fight. So I'm not against using her because she should be low owned. And I do think, I don't think she scores well on the feet, but she is a good striker. And I do think like she could maybe win the striking and then just really put a stamp on a round with a takedown halfway through. And then she's active on the ground. So I think she could put up a pretty good score in a decision, which is what I always like to target. So I'm not against Klein. I have it as a 3-3 though, and a 2-star because I'm not against either side. And I'm also not going to really target either side heavily. It's not a fight I'm trying to force into any lineups. If I have 10 lineups on this card and I have 0 of them, I'd be fine with it. If I had like 2 or 3 of either side, I'd be okay with that, I think. Maybe not 3 out of 10 on Klein. That's probably a bit much, but 1 or 2 I'd be okay with.
Do you think you'll have more Klein or Kaiv?
Klein.
Yeah, I really don't like either, so I guess I won't say too much. Like, I'm going to play a good amount of lineups. I'm very well might play 27 fighters, 20. Like, I'm not playing Mechanico. I'll probably play everyone else after that, not much. But this is definitely one of my least favorite fights. I think Klein's better everywhere, so I don't really want to click on Hill, especially when I do think we need a win down below. I don't think like a 45 in a decision's enough at 6,700 on this card. If it is, yeah, I mean, she can get there that way. But 9,500, give me Islam for 300 less. Give me maybe even Sean Brady. I mean, it's pretty close. Give me Benoit for cheaper for sure. I'll save 400 with Bo Nickel. Give me Gregor Rodriguez's upside. Give me Wellmaker. Give me Dawkins. Like, there's just so many guys that can go down the list, I think, where I prefer. But ownership will be really low. So in chalk your lineups, I'm not going to X her out. Plus 260 inside the distance is fine. Potential takedown upside. As the second highest price fighter, though, it's by no means a fight I like in a vacuum. So it's just really an ownership game theory fight. And Klein is my preferred fighter in this one than Angela Hill.
All right. I would say that, like, if there weren't salaries, like if it wasn't I can't afford Sister Kaiv, I'd rather have him because I think a first round knockout's super in play. But I don't know that even gets him there at 9,800. That's why I just don't think I can afford him.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, he's minus 150 in round one. Like, salary's not a thing. Sister Kaiv's the highest, top 3 highest owned on the slate. Like, there's no doubt about that. Biggest favorite, best inside the distance, round one prop. But I'm glad DraftKings got it right. 300 more than the second highest price and 500 more than the third highest price. It brings decisions into play, which is what we want. So props to DraftKings on that. Before we get to the next fight, if you do want to join us at the Nation, there's no better time. November, look at that. All these sports besides MLB going on. I don't think actually NASCAR either, but MMA, NHL, PGA, NBA, college football, and NFL. We would love to have you at the Nation. Big boy again, MMA prizes, all of our content will be up tomorrow. You can join for as little as $19 using the code CHIP19. Gets you 5 days, gets you this weekend for NFL, gets you college football, gets you MMA, gets you NBA. I mean, no better time to take advantage if you have not already. Again, using the code CHIP19. We would love to have you at the Nation. Mid-tier fight, next fight, good one in real life. I'm pumped for this. Pat Sabatini, minus 130. Chepe Mariskell, plus 110. Minus 135 for this fight to finish. Holy moly. Is that a typo? That's got to be a typo. Every other book has like plus 120, plus 135, and this open plus 140. I think it's plus 135 to finish. I don't think it took 75 cents. So I'm going to say, I want to say it's a typo. I'm going to say plus 135 to finish in this one. Yeah, it is. Okay. Because the fight to finish is minus one. Fight to go the distance, minus 165. That was a typo, and that would have changed a lot of stuff if I saw 75 cents a line movement. But plus 135 to finish. We have Chepe plus 230 inside the distance, Sabatini plus 400. So the underdog in Chepe has the better inside the distance prop by a good bit at plus 230 versus Sabatini plus 400. Thing about Sabatini, as you see on the stone, 3.98 takedowns per 15 minutes. The dude is dominant on the ground. Definitely position over finish, but he can rack up points and score 100 plus in decisions. And now he, like the Wellmaker now, or had an out, Wellmaker only makes this fight lower owned because some of the ownership in this fight is going to Wellmaker right there. So if Sabatini outscores Wellmaker in a vacuum, you're looking at a lot better chance at lower dupes and leaving that 100. He has the same amount of upside. So that's a pivot I'm fine making. I don't love it as much going Wellmaker down to Chepe, but talk to me in this one.
Yeah, I'm going to be heavy on this fight. I like it a lot for DFS because to me it's kind of a striker versus grappler matchup. Like Chepe can go out there and wrestle against guys, but you don't want to wrestle against Sabatini. He is going to have a clear grappling edge in this one. He's going to be dangerous on the ground. But Chepe has never been submitted in his career. And I think like Sabatini's not a terrible striker, but I think Chepe does destroy him on the feet. It's kind of a binary fight, in my opinion, and either guy could look like they should be a minus 400 favorite. So that's what I always like targeting either side of. My preferred play is Sabatini just because of his ground game, and he has to get the fight to the ground to win this fight. So I expect him to get at least 3 takedowns. If Chepe can get up, then we can get more. But I do think the submission's in play for every round. I also think 12 minutes of control time is in play too. So I'll be heavy on Sabatini, but especially with hand-built lineups, when I'm struggling to find a dog, if Sabatini's in my lineup, I'm going down to Chepe, seeing if that opens anything up for me. So if I ended up with more exposure to Chepe, I'd be okay with that. But my preferred play, if I can afford it, would be Sabatini.
Agree with all of that. Sabatini's 7 UFC wins on DraftKings have scored 82, 90, and that 90 was a first-round submission where he literally just got it to the mat, missed out on the bonus, but submitted him after. 105, 106, 114, 111, and 106. And a lot of those are decisions. So that just shows his upside there. And yeah, like Chepe's, he's like a junkyard dog. He's always moving. He is good. Like that Damon Jackson fight is one that always will stick in my head. Same with the Damon Jackson Sabatini fight where Jackson knocks him out. I don't know if his brother passed or it was some crazy thing. He chin checked him right away. But Chepe's a dog. Like if he can get up, that's what you want. Because Sabatini could get 11 takedowns. Like he can just chain them because he's not going to want to be at distance against Chepe. So I hope he can get up because then it's rinse and repeat. Whereas Brito, he couldn't get up. It was 13 minutes plus of control time. It was that easy for him, which still does score. So it just shows how much scoring opportunity in multiple different ways. Like this fight finishes, Sabatini can score in a sub. Goes to decision, Sabatini can score there. And it has to be capped, his ownership, because of that mid-range being so good. So I like it. And then plus 230 to finish at 7,900 is also very good too. So yeah, a fight I'm targeting, even though it is favored to go the distance. But at least some money has come back in on the under. Open plus 145 to finish. Now plus 135, which I do like to see. Next fight on the card, Kyle Dawkins, minus 500. Gerald Mirsharp, plus 375. Minus 250 for this fight to finish. Dawkins, minus 145 inside the distance. Mirsharp, plus 460. I mean, I think Kyle Dawkins absolutely runs him over. I'm really happy that he got back in the UFC, and he made a statement. He showed Dana in the book, like, come on, man, he's still here to fight. He's well-rounded. He'll fight for your dollar. I mean, he beat Michel Pereira in convincing fashion. That was a good win. And Gerald Mirsharp's 37. The dude's 37-20. Like Dawkins is as hungry as ever. I'd argue he's in his prime at 32. I like him a lot at 9,300. I think we could be looking at a first round, maybe second round finish. Ownership has to stay in check to some extent with Islam right there. I'm definitely playing some Dawkins. And if I'm only playing 10 teams, I'm not playing Gerald Mirsharp. I do not. Yes, he always has that submission path, whatever. Dawkins is good on the ground. I think this is one-way traffic.
Yeah, I think Dawkins has him covered everywhere, so I'm going to X out Mirsharp as well. And he's somebody I usually do like to play when he's cheap. I think he's made me a good amount of money over the years as an underdog. But not here. I'm just not going to risk any money on Mirsharp because I don't think the sub is in play. I don't even know that he has any submission grappling edge in this fight. Give me Dawkins. The worry would be that Dawkins is just cruising on the feet and he doesn't get a knockout. He's not going to put up a big score with no takedowns and no knockout, so I'm not going to force Dawkins. But the line says he should get a finish, so I think he would put up a decent score. And a first-round knockout from Dawkins against a first-round submission from Islam could put Dawkins on the optimal at lower ownership, and you get less dupes that way. So I think Dawkins is a decent play. But I have this as a 3-star because I'm worried about the striking, going the distance with striking, and because I'm just not going to play any Mirsharp. It's one-way traffic for me.
Yeah, no, we're in agreement there. That was one of the I debated betting his inside the distance prop. That was a line that stood out to me from the get-go. Kyle Dawkins should run him over in this one. The same favorite, like the same lines right here. Wellmaker's minus 500. Ethan Euing is plus 375, just like we talked about with Dawkins Mirsharp. But again, because Haddon's out and this fight just was announced like an hour or two ago, 8,400, 9,300. So you're saying the 900 price difference with, again, the exact same money line at minus 500. I penciled in, I didn't put it here, but 6,800 is my guess on where Euing is going to come in, just because we have a 6,700 fighter in Hill and a 6,900 Mirsharp and no 6,800. It seems like DraftKings tries to price people where no one is priced if it makes sense. So I'm going to say 8,400 Wellmaker, 6,800 Euing, minus 500 Wellmaker, plus 375 Euing. And the only prop I see is under 1.5 that opened plus 161 and is now minus 180. Seeing that makes me think that a Wellmaker finishing prop will be, I don't know, minus 275-ish, something in that range. He's 8,400. He hits like a truck. But with that being said, he doesn't wrestle. So at least like, a knockout in a minute and 7 seconds and a knockdown 104. You take 104 all day at 8,400. But I don't know. I guess saying it like that, yeah, I guess how does he fail? How do you see it going?
Yeah. At 8,400, you take that. At a normal minus 500 price tag, maybe you don't take that. I don't know. I mean, I actually thought Euing looked a lot better than I was expecting him to look on those 3 fights that I watched. But he's a pure striker too, and he is pushing forward. He's landing a lot of close shots. Like he'll get a lot of jabs, go for the body too. And I don't know that you want to get in close against Wellmaker. Wellmaker has the best hooks in the entire UFC. Big time power. He only needs to land one. And he's just so good at the counter timing. I think eventually he's going to land one and knock out Euing. But all of your points are pretty much coming from that knockdown and the win bonus. You need it to be in the first round. I mean, I guess at 8,400, you could take a second rounder from Wellmaker too, which is the problem. Like I want to try and get away from him because of the ownership, but I mean, I want Wellmaker in my lineups because I think he's going to get the knockout. With hand builds, I'm not going to get any Euing, but I'm interested in the unknowns for MMA. I think I'd be fine with him in my player pool. He'll be sub 10%, and he could win this fight and score. From what I saw, even if he won a decision, I feel like he could put up 75 plus points in a striking-based decision. If it's like he is pushing forward, showing what he showed in that, he's not worried about the power. Or just the power's not landing and he realizes that like I can eat these shots. And if it's just his volume against Wellmaker's volume, I think he would be super live in a 15-minute striking match. But 10, 20 lineups, I doubt I have to go there. I don't know. We'll see, I guess. But I have this as a 4-star because of the Euing side being pretty much a no-go. I almost made it a 5-star, but put the 5 and 1, and that almost seems like I'm forced in Wellmaker. So I didn't know. I might move it to that. We'll see how many Wellmaker lineups I end up having when I start to build. But I want to say he's not a must-have. He's just a really good play.
I don't think he's a must-have because Valentino Whaley, winner, can outscore. Sabatini, we talked about, can outscore. Sean Brady can outscore. Heck, at the end of the day, Chepe could. Slava Claus could. The guy just at 14 fights, I think there's a Jack Della for cheaper. He wins. He could. So I just think there's enough or enough people below that have the upside that I don't think he's a lock. Your Ethan Euing take is interesting. And if he is priced 6,800, like I think, I'm going to play some just for the natural. I don't like Mechanico. I don't like Angela Hill. So I'm fine. Like, I can any ownership I would have there, I could play it at Euing. But it's the most leverage. Like Wellmaker will be top 3 owned on the slate probably or something like that. So you're getting so much direct leverage and you're getting the appropriate price of Euing because he's going to be out of the player pool tomorrow, or at least he should, at 6,800 where he's plus 375. So a very low owned Euing who's priced efficiently versus Wellmaker who's mega chalk because he's not. But I mean, if he loses, he loses. Like MMA, it's really obvious in that sense. So, yeah, I'm going to play some Euing. You like kind of how he looked on the feet? I'm going to get a little as a dog. If he wins and scores 75, you know what I mean? That could be enough if it jams in the upper tier or whatever it may be. So, yeah, I mean, if they price him at 7,800, we're kind of talking about a different story. But 6,800, I'd be in on a little Euing. Wellmaker, obviously a great play. But it's not sneaking past anyone. All right, next fight on the card. Aaron Blanchfield minus 250. Tracy Cortez plus 210. Plus 300 for this fight to finish. Blanchfield plus 375 inside the distance. Tracy plus 800. Yeah, I mean, how much take it away. I do not like this fight. I know Blanchfield's going to wrestle and probably have success, but yeah, 9K is a lot to spend. I don't want to pick Tracy either, though, because I think Blanchfield's better everywhere. So I'm not having much of this fight personally.
Yeah, I'm okay with either side, but I'm not really trying to get to this fight. I think I'm okay with either side because they are both good on the ground. And if either side does clearly win this fight with a wrestling, grappling, heavy-based style, then they can put up a big score. But you really need that from Blanchfield at 9K, and I don't trust that that's what's going to happen. I think that this could play out on the feet more so than on the ground. And if it is a 15-minute striking match, I don't think either side is going to have a big score. So Blanchfield is the side that has the ceiling. You can get different from the field by putting her in your lineups, and she can get there. But I feel like I'd probably rather take my chances on Cortez at 7,200, who is going to have to land a couple takedowns, I think, to win this fight. And judges are idiots and corrupt, so you could definitely get them giving you an extra 30 points that way. So It's really a 3-3 for me, but if I had to pick right now who I would put in a lineup, probably Cortez.
Do you see Cortez having success getting takedowns?
I would think she lands at least one, but no,
Right.
I don't think she like cruises by landing 3 or 4 takedowns and just clearly wins. I think it's going to be a really close fight. If she wins, I have Blanchfield winning, but I still think it's going to be a close fight.
All right. Yeah, I just think Blanchfield's kind of better everywhere, but it's a fight heavily favored go the distance between two girls that kind of do the same stuff. Like if they're wrestling negates each other, which I'm worried about that it does, on the feet, you're not going to want this fight. Cortez wins, scores 73. Again, there's pass for it, but if you tell me like 3 other dogs win, Tracy still probably doesn't get there at that price. Not a fight I want much exposure to personally. Let's go to a fight I do want a good amount of exposure to. Gregory Rodriguez, minus 185. Roman Copilov, plus 160. Minus 250 for this fight to finish. Rodriguez, plus 120 inside the distance. Copilov, plus 200. I like this fight every which way. How much, throw it to you on this, how much do you think Gregory wrestles? Do you think he's shooting for a couple takedowns in round 1? Or do you think he's going to feed into Copilov, give Copilov the fight he wants and just, like him and Cheaty, just bang it out and see who's tougher and who goes down first? How do you see it going?
Yeah, I definitely think he should wrestle, but I do think he will wrestle because his issue is his chin, and it's a big worry. Like I like Rodriguez striking quite a bit. He's powerful. He's got really good hands. He could win this fight if it stays on the feet, but I don't know that he would, and he could definitely get knocked out in any round. He would probably gas before Copilov gasses in a striking match. And Copilov just has more tools on the feet that you got to worry about. So take the fight to the ground where you don't worry about anything from the Copilov side. All you got to worry about is not gassing out. And I think Rodriguez could look like a minus 500 favorite if he is out there looking to not strike at all in this fight. My worry is that he does strike, though, because he is a good striker, too. And fighters are idiots typically. So I just don't trust Rodriguez, but I really like his skills. I like his style when he is smart. So I'm going to be heavy on him. I'll be around the field, I'd say, on Copilov, though, because I'm worried about, especially if I have leverage on Rodriguez, I'm worried about him getting clipped really in any round. And if it's a first or second round knockout, Copilov's on the optimal end.
Yeah, I'm going Copilov just for the sense of I'm hoping Gregory is kind of dumb and doesn't really wrestle like he's done in so many fights. He just is fine. Like he's fallen in love with his hands a lot. And Copilov's super dangerous. His feints, his kicks just comes from so many different ways. He's powerful. For 1K savings, solid money line value, Copilov is my pick, but I do like Gregory Rodriguez a lot. I think like if he does decide to wrestle, yeah, he should dominate. Even if it is a striking match, Gregory has the power to land one punch and finish the fight. But Rodriguez has been knocked out in 4 of his 6 losses. I think we could see that be a 5th. His chin's definitely absorbed a lot of damage, and Copilov hits hard. So I'm hoping he doesn't wrestle. I'm on the Copilov side, but I still like Gregory Rodriguez for a lot of upside at 8,600. Next fight on the card, Bo Nickel, minus 225. Rodolfo Vieira, plus 190. Minus 105 for this fight to finish. Nickel, plus 205 inside the distance. Vieira, plus 310. What I don't like to see is the over has taken some money. So this fight opened minus 130 to finish. Now minus 105. Nickel opened plus 175 inside the distance. Now plus 205. Vieira opened plus 285 inside the distance. Now plus 310. So every inside the distance prop in the fight to finish has gone the wrong way. What do you make of that? I see you have it a 2-star and you like Vieira a lot more than Bo. So is Bo one of your least favorites in the upper tier?
Probably. But I just don't really like this fight in general. It's wrestler versus BJJ. So we're going to get a striking match. And we're neither one of them is going to score well in a 15-minute striking match. I think Nickel plays it safe. He doesn't try and get Vieira down, at least not in the first round. Maybe after Vieira starts to slow down, maybe Nickel can start getting takedowns in the second and third where he's a little bit safer and more slippery. But in the first round, I feel like if Bo gets a takedown in the first round, Vieira is going to be fine. if Vieira got a takedown or took Nichols back, I think he'd be the one that would start to panic because these wrestlers aren't used to being, on their back. They're used to being the alpha. So I think Vieira is live to score 100 points here and just break the slate. Nickel, I think he's got to land a knockout to have a big shot. I just don't see him landing 8 takedowns in this matchup against Vieira, who is really only dangerous on the ground. So I expect Nickel to win 2 rounds in a close striking match that takes place almost purely on the feet, and I'm not interested in either side of that. So if I was going to play it, I think I'd rather have the underdog. I'm not going to X out either side, though, because Nickel could knock him out in the first round. I just don't know that he's a good enough striker. I don't know that he believes in himself that much. But Vieira's not a good striker himself, and he could definitely get clipped.
Yeah, I don't love this fight. I wrote it up pretty much like I want to be even with the field for the sense of I don't want whatever happens in this fight to bury me. Like if Bo Nickel just dominates the wrestling, which I don't, again, see too much because Vieira is grappling, and he puts up 107. I mean, he's going to be pretty low owned. He has the style and he has knockout ability. Vieira 7,100 is one of the best grapplers to step into the UFC. I mean, that's freaking like that does a lot and has a lot of upside for the price. I prefer Vieira if choosing, mainly just for the 2K savings. Like a 75 might be enough at 7,100, where it's definitely not enough at 9,100. So because I like less dogs, Vieira is my preferred side. I don't love Bo. I'm not Xing out Bo, but I'm in agreement. I don't like this fight too much. And holy moly, first and second for 125 big ones. That is awesome, Mateus. Congrats. Yeah, that's something you never forget. 125 bank, not only first, but second. And yesterday, if it was yesterday, is that what you said? Hey guys, after grinding. Last night. That was the $5, which is what, 48,000 people taking first and second. And that is one of the, that's an amazing feat. You should be very, very happy with yourself. So be smart though with bankroll. Don't be playing 20x what you play every slate, and the next thing you know, it's gone. People have done that, but enjoy that. That's really sick, Mateus. All right, keep it rolling. 5 fights left. I mean, you can't. Very few times can you just put 5 fights in a row and, in my opinion, go banger, 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 banger. I think that's what we have here, though. I'm excited for all 5 of these, very much so. First fight, any Benoit Saint Denis fight's going to be fun. -180, taking on Beneil Darius, +155. -250 for this fight to finish. Benoit -120 inside the distance. Darius +310. I just will always play Benoit fights. He walks forward. He'll wrestle. He'll throw. He'll bring it to you. If you're going to win, I mean, you got to beat him. Zaleski dos Santos, Dustin Poirier, like, you got to beat him. He's a great hammer. He can take damage too. Even when he loses to Moicano, like the doctor steps in. Like this dude is the definition of fight for your dollar. Darius getting up there at age of 36. I'll definitely play some Darius though, just for the fact of if Benoit doesn't win, I think his opponent scores well. Like I just want his fight. So I'm in on this fight in every which way. Yeah. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, I might change this to a 5-star because I like both sides of it. My preferred side is going to be BSD just because he is good everywhere, but he is high-paced everywhere. He's a high-paced striker trying to knock off his opponent's head, and he can wrestle heavily for 15 rounds. I just like his style for sure. But Darius is really good everywhere too. He's dangerous everywhere. If he would just pick up the pace and match Saint Denis' aggressiveness, I think he could win anywhere in this fight. So I would expect if Darius wins, I really, either side of this fight, I would be pretty surprised if they didn't hit 90 points. I think we're going to get a big score from either side. Probably get a couple takedowns from either or both sides. Could get a finish in the first, second, or third round. So, yeah, I'm just going to be heavy on the fight. Prefer BSD, but again, man, if I really need to go down to Darius to see what that does to my lineup, I'd be fine having more exposure to Darius.
I would too. I just want to all 7 of BSD's wins have scored over 100. Like the dude is just the nut when it comes to DFS, like whether he wins or loses. I think Poirier only scored 87. He was getting beat in that fight, landed the left hook or whatever it was. But I mean, 87, I'll take that all day. Darius just priced at 7,400. Just give me a lot of exposure to this fight. I think one of the best on the card. All right, next fight on the card. Carlos Pratz and Leon Edwards. Minus 162 is Pratz. Money has been coming in on Leon. Plus 142 is Leon. Minus 115 for this fight to finish. Pratz plus 145 inside the distance. Edwards plus 450. So that's interesting. Minus a little money, not much. It was minus 110 to finish, now minus 115. Pratz was minus 195 on Monday, though. Now minus 162. I had both guys as underweight, and I still think I agree with that. But does this line movement indicate that Leon's going to wrestle? Or do you just think the striking is a lot more, or do you just think the striking is competitive? I don't know. I think the biggest difference is the power. Like minute for minute, sure, but man, Pratz just hits so hard. If someone wrestles, it's Leon. But is this line saying that these two on the feet are pretty even? How do you see it going?
Yeah, I think Edwards can hang with anybody on the feet, so I think it would be fairly even. I lean with Pratz in volume. I lean with him in knockout power as well. Yeah, if there's a wrestler in this one, it should be Leon. I don't know that he's going to be a real wrestler where he wrestles for 10-plus minutes and puts up a big score. But if he wrestles enough just to win the fight at 7,300, I'd be interested. I have this as a 2-star, though, because I am expecting a slower-paced striking match. And if there's a finish, I think it's Pratz, so I put him as my 4 stars. But another fight that I'm just not looking to target, fine landing on either side. If I land on Pratz, I want it to be because it's a lower-owned, could win me a solo ship type of lineup. And if I land on Edwards, it's because it's my 6th spot, and I had 7,300 or less in my lineup. And I'm fine with that. Really, for any underdog, like if I'm hand building, I'm trying to start with my favorites, see what it puts me at as my 6th spot, and see if I'm okay with them and who I'd be okay moving down to leave some salary. But that's kind of how I see me hand building on this card, because underdogs are so tough to choose from, and I might have to even move from one of my favorites down to the underdog that I was originally going against. That could be another one here.
Yeah, I just don't like this fight much. The Pratz stuff, a second round knockout very well might not be enough at 8,900. A first round's not even guaranteed. There's no wrestling on that side. Money's going against him. Just everything is telling me more so Leon. With that being said, he's still plus 145 inside the distance. He should be relatively low owned. And I mean, he has super power. Like he scored 100 plus multiple times. What he did to who is the Chinese guy that he just like deaded 3? Oh, fuck! It was just on the tip of my tongue. UFC stats.
Oh, Jingling.
Yeah, Jingling or whatever. 3-4 knockdowns. Like I mean, just beat the brakes off of him. Pratz was when he gets in flow state.
He looks so good in that fight. Yeah,
so good. Yeah, flow state. He's nasty, but Leon is definitely a step up. I'm hoping it goes the distance. I do not want much exposure to this one. Leon, my preferred play for the savings. Next fight, 3 fights left. I mean, big fight for the division. Just real life. Sean Brady, Michael Morales. 2 of the better 170s out there. Minus 130 is Brady. Plus 110 is Morales. Minus 110 for this fight to finish. Both guys the same inside the distance prop at plus 245. Interesting to note, a little money came back on Morales. It was minus 139 Brady. Now minus 130, and then 18-0 versus 18-1. 26-year-old Morales, 18-0, gets the biggest step up in his career. Though he will have a 2-inch height advantage and a 7-inch reach advantage. Yeah, take it away. I mean, does Brady have success wrestling? I think that's what it comes down to.
Yeah, if he's going to win, he's definitely going to have to. He is a good boxer. He's a solid striker, but in this fight, he has to wrestle. But if he wins, he's going to put up a big score. I would guess over 100 points. So I do like Brady here. Well, really, I would prefer him too. I would start with a 4-star on Brady, 2-star Morales. But I was on YouTube, and the UFC posted like a poll: who's going to win this fight? Sean Brady or Michael Morales, and I click Sean Brady, and it's like 69% of people pick Brady, and I'm like, oh, in a pick'em fight, I'm like, damn it, Morales is definitely gonna win now. So like that's fucking with me, dude. I'm like, now I kind of like Morales a little bit more because if the takedowns aren't happening, I don't think he's gonna like the shots that are coming his way, and Morales could knock him out in any round. And it's almost like every time I see something like that on their YouTube polls, it almost always goes the other way. So I am a lot more interested in Morales than I was yesterday. But it's really just one of those fights where I want to start with Brady because of his big time ceiling, and if move down to Morales if I can't figure out a Brady lineup. But it's a fight I want to be pretty heavy on because I think it's a wrestling clinic from Brady or a knockout from Morales.
That's funny you said that in the sense of I was feeling like when I saw this fight and all the way up until beginning of this week, I was like, I'm in on Sean Brady. Like the takedowns are too much, all of this. But it wasn't like the public and all that, which is really funny you're saying that. But it's just something kept telling me more when I dove in this fight. Like he's like what, an Ecuadorian national champion? Let me get this national freestyle wrestling champion in Ecuador. Grew up like wrestling, went to judo, striking, but like the dude has wrestling background. Yeah. He's much bigger. Yeah. He's much bigger than Sean Brady. On the feet, yeah, Sean Brady can box, but I mean, Bilal boxed his nose in and knocked him out when the wrestling wasn't working. Man, I've gone back and forth. Like, I love Brady's style. It's so hard-nosed. He just made Leon, it looks so easy, but Morales is a different cat. I'm so torn on this fight. I lean Brady for the sense of I think he scores 100 plus more in wins than Morales, but you're also getting $800 discount on Morales. With that being said, what if he gets controlled the first 2 rounds and gets a 3rd round knockout because Brady's tired? 65? Like, I don't know.
I don't think Brady would tire in a 3-round fight. No. I just think it would be maybe he gets a takedown early, but he can't hold him down. Morales gets back up, and then it's just like demoralizing for Brady. And then the next takedown's harder than that first round. That first one was. The third one's harder than that second one was. And then the motivation just starts going down as well too. Man, if it wasn't for that 69% Brady, dude, I would have not had these thoughts as much. But that is really shifting me big time to Morales is going to get a knockout. It's almost like a foregone conclusion because 69% of the public.
There you go. I won't say anything else on that. I totally get fading the public can be probably more times than not is the right way to go, especially when it's such a wide margin on such a closely lined fight. But it's hard for me to change all my exposures because of something like that. But hey, some things are meant to be. Some things throughout the week or whatever. Maybe it's telling you something and trying to make you 125 big ones like our man Mateus did on Saturday. So yeah, tough fight. I'll get some of both though. It's a good mid-tier fight that has to be relatively capped with Wellmaker and Valentina Whaley fight right in that same range. It's a good segue to the co-main events. 5-round fights. Whaley is coming up to fight Valentina Shevchenko, -134 Valentina, +114 is Whaley, +195 for this fight to finish, +375 inside the distance for Whaley, +390 for Valentina. So you said at the top you'd be fine maybe stacking this one, or maybe you didn't say that. Maybe you said you were, but you said yeah. Okay, you said that, and you prefer this fight to all fights on the card. So do you like? Is it have to be 3+ takedowns on both sides, or like mainly play out on the mat? Is that why you see it? Because if it's on the feet, I just don't see what separates this fight from all the other ones if it stays on the feet.
Yeah, I do think we're going to have takedowns from both sides, and it's just going to be a high-paced fight. Just really excited about the fight in general. And the prices are $8,200 and $8K. I think we're going to get 100+ from either side. So I want that winner in my lineup, but I also think we could get 125 to 90 or something like that, and maybe a stack does work. So I am going to hand build around with some stacks, see what I can do. But I have a feeling I'm just going to move to one side or the other. plan is to start with Chevchenko, build a lineup, hopefully like it. Then I'm going to duplicate that lineup, put in Wiley. So maybe that makes me have more Wiley lineups because I can just afford more lineups with her in that $200. But I'm going to just be heavy on this fight. With my hand builds, I'm going to make it a rule that I click on this every single time. If I make 150 on SaberSim, I won't make a rule, but I will have them projected higher than everybody around them to make it almost force them into close to 100%.
If you had to rank Wellmaker, Whaley, Valentina, how are you doing it?
Well, Wellmaker because I have a big preference in that fight, and then the other two I just don't even care about. I would say
in wins. What about in wins for Wellmaker versus Valentina versus Whaley? How do you average those? Or like, what's the median there?
Yeah, I would say actually that would make me prefer this fight more because I think that the winner from this fight is going to have a better chance at 130 than Wellmaker does. I think Wellmaker is going to score 110 or something like that. But either one of these ladies could put up 110, but with 130 type of upside that only Makachev, right? Only Makachev, I think, on this card could even match with 3 rounds to work with probably. Brady could definitely get up there, especially with 5 rounds, but 3 might not be enough. Yeah, I don't know. I love this fight to where I'd be okay with either side, but I know who I want in that Wellmaker fight.
Yeah, that makes sense. Did you pick a winner? Did I miss it?
Yeah. So I did mine on Sunday. It was, let me look it up. It was minus 118 Shevchenko, minus 102 Zhang. So at the end of it, I said, I'd really just prefer the plus side if I was going to bet this fight. I don't care who it is. I'd rather have plus money on either side. But for now, my pick is Shevchenko. Had I looked at it right now and saw plus 115 on Zhang, I would have picked Zhang as my one.
Fair enough. Yeah, that makes sense. I've been so torn. I have no clue. I want similar exposure in DFS. I picked Whaley. Man, she's been an absolute beast. But yeah, coming up a division, Valentina will have the height and reach advantage. Wrestling, it's more like trips, technique, finesse in Valentina versus just sheer power of Whaley, it seems. It's such a good fight. I'm very excited for it. We'll have a lot in DFS. I do not think I will be fight stacking personally. But I'm not against it. Like I said to Brian, you can have 5% of your portfolio with the fight stack if you feel like it. And that's probably with the field, maybe overweight. I don't know. I never have a good gauge on how much the field stacks. But 14 fights, the more fights, the harder it is to stack. And 2 5-rounders also makes it a little difficult. And on top of all that, a very strong mid-range where 82 in a loss from Whaley, I don't think it's optimal. I don't, because I think Wellmaker or Brady or Chepe or Sabatini, I just think there's enough mid-tier fights. The Gregory Rodriguez fight priced right there. I just think there's enough upside surrounding them where 82 in a loss would be phenomenal. The winner would probably score like 119, but I don't think it'd be enough. However, we just saw Dern and Jandaroba score 123 and 120 or something. Like if we get that, I mean, yeah, you're going to need both girls. So if there was one to fight stack, it is clearly this one with the pricing. All right, the moment everyone's been waiting for. Again, appreciate everyone hanging out. Before we get to this fight, all we ask is like button and the subscribe button. It helps us out a ton. And again, if you want to join us at the Nation, 5 days for $19 using the code SHIP19, NFL, MMA, college football, PGA Showdown, NBA, NHL, so much going on this weekend. We would love to have you. Massive prize pools in a multitude of sports. Again, all MMA content will be up tomorrow. Projections, ownership, slate plan, fight rankings, etc. Also, our friends over at Splash Sports offering us a nice deal. Using the code SHIPIT, you get a $50 deposit match when you deposit over there. You also get a 100% payout boost on your first quick picks entry. Kind of like picking overs and unders for NBA, NFL for props, similar to like prize picks, DraftKings quick pick or pick 6, whatever they got it called over there. Definitely check out Splash Sports, getting a $50 deposit match and 100% payout boost on your first entry is plus EV. You cannot beat that. Main events, Islam Makachev comes up to 170 to fight Jack Della Maddalena. Minus 270 is Islam. Plus 230 is Jack Della. Minus 160 for this fight to finish. Plus 125 inside the distance for Islam. Plus 300 for Jack. So looking at it, the only line movement on the Islam side, he was minus 250 Tuesday. Now he's minus 270. I've never picked a bet against Islam. I will not be doing it this week. With that being said, most fights, I am fading everyone or fading the opponents of Islam. That will not be the case this week. I think Jack is very much live. If he can stuff takedowns like he did, if he fights the same fight as he did against Bilal, he has a chance. He's live. Good in the clinch. Keep it at distance. Stuff takedowns. Make it a war. But even in a war, I mean, DP fought his best fight against Islam in a war, and he found a way to do it. I just think Khabib and the boys, Islam's meant to do this stuff, and he filled out perfectly for the division. I don't think he's going to look small. With all that being said, Jack Dell is a gamer. This is why we're MMA fans. I mean, two of the best in the world going at it, locked in a cage for 25 minutes. I'm rock hard over here, Big Marley. What we got in this one?
Yeah, I got to go with Islam in a fight where he's clearly not going to have the striking edge, and he has to grapple heavily. For DFS, I especially like him. I think he is going to put up a big score here. It could be a first, second, third, really any round submission. But even in a 5-round decision, I expect 110 plus points from him, which usually isn't his style. He's not a super active type of guy, but I think in this fight with 5 rounds, he would get there. I think a bigger word would be like a second-round submission, something like that, and he scores 95 points. That's what I don't want. So I'm not going to force Islam into my lineups. I'm also not going to force Jack, but with 10 lineups, let's say, if I make 10, I probably don't even get to Jack. It's like all in on Islam, or maybe I just don't get to him in a lineup or two. But the more lineups I start to make, the more interested I am in JDM, because if 170 pounds is more of a struggle with the wrestling, then JDM's going to pick this guy apart and knock him out eventually. If Islam can't wrestle, I don't think he can strike with JDM. So I think it would be a knockout at some point. So definitely almost all-in type of fight. Prefer Islam. But it's going to be a hell of a test to see how good he is at 170, because JDM is one of the best strikers in the UFC.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think it's either Jack knocks him out or Islam probably submits him at some point. I'm on the Islam side just because he's that guy. He hasn't proved me wrong since I've been, it's the 27-1. He got knocked out a long time ago before I was playing MMA DFS, but continues to get the job done. He has the best coach, one of the best coaches in his corner. I think he sticks with the game plan, and I think he gets his hand raised again. But what a fight we have. I wouldn't be shocked if he loses. 14 fights on tap, 2 5-rounders. Fingers crossed we keep all 14, because if we do, Madison Square Garden and us are in for a treat this weekend. Again, 6 p.m. Eastern. UFC 322. All content will be up tomorrow. Projections, ownership, slate plan, everything you need for Saturday. Big Marley, final thoughts.
Not looking forward to it. Hopefully it's a fun one. Congrats to Mateus on the 125K. That's amazing. Hopefully one of us can do it on this UFC card. But good luck to you, Title. Good luck to everybody listening. Let's ship it.
Yeah, good. Congrats to Mateus, 125K. That is insane. Any of us will take 1/3 of that on the show, watching in the YouTube chat. Let's aim for 1/3 of that this Saturday, and we will be very happy campers. If it's not MMA, maybe it's college football, maybe it's NFL, maybe it's NBA, maybe it's NHL. And again, Ship 19 gets you over to the nation for 5 days for just $19. We would love to have you. Hit the like on the way out, helps us out a ton, subscribe button as well, and go out there and ship something this weekend. For Big Marley, I'm Titletown. Good luck, be safe, peace.